Welcome to InterPartyConflict, the podcast where we answer your questions so you can have the best tabletop gaming experience possible. My name is Gabe.
And my name is Jeff.
And we have two very special guests with us today, Jack and Austin from the People's Trivia Company.
Hello!
Hi! Thank you so much for having us. I'm Jack, by the way.
And I'm Austin. Understand the names could be a little...
Might confuse you.
Sure. Thank you so much for coming on the show. But first, let me ask all of you, the three of you, how are you doing today? Jeff, you go first.
Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. So while we're on the Hangouts here, we don't have our cameras going, and you guys had made the joke that it's like, oh, you're a little unkempt today. It's like, yeah, it's between quarantine and stuff like that. People aren't, always ready to be on camera. I am especially not ready to be on camera because Gabe might remember the length of my hair.
Yeah.
It is no longer that length. I have cut my own hair.
Oh, Jeff.
Did you lose your power, Samson?
No, it was intentional. Like everything's good. It's just like I gave it a once over to get it down as short as I want it, and it doesn't look great. Well, I mean, it looks fine, but it doesn't look like it was done by a professional because it definitely wasn't. So I'm just kind of like letting it settle before I go over it again and trim it up and make it look as nice as possible before I go into work tomorrow.
Oh no!
Yeah.
So that's what's going on with me. I had not gotten my hair cut for I think 7 or 8 years.
Ooh, whoa!
And then like just last year I got it like trimmed a little bit, but not much. And it was like, it was like below shoulder length. It was fairly long. And now I'm at like, like the number 4 guard on a trimmer, like I'm real short now.
My goodness.
Yeah. But that's kind of how my hair was when I was like in like high school and college. Like I had short hair for a really long time. And it just was the last decade that I had it long. So,
yeah.
So that's the exciting thing going on in my life. How about you guys?
Jack?
Yeah, everything is going well. We spent a lot of time on the People's Trivia Co. doing trivia shows.
Yeah.
When we're not doing that, I like to do improv. I've recently joined an online improv group, and I'm greatly enjoying that. And then I play video games. And it's all going like that. It's good. And
Awesome.
for money, I tutor math. I also tutor students in math. That's my job.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I'm having a good day. I have a fun work day. If that makes any sense. Like I have responsibilities and things I have to do, but it's all fun. Like I got this. This is like, oh, I have to record a podcast. Oh, but it's about it's games. It's about games.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Much better at that than like banking or something like that. And
Sure.
Got some YouTube events later on that I usually organize. But again, that's fun stuff. Once it's happening, I mean, it's all just good. So it's a fun kind of busy for me today.
Yeah. I should probably take off this discussion question about banking that we were going to have.
I will. Just thanks for having us. We have to go. Thank you so much. It's been real. No, I'm kidding.
It sounds like productive fun going on.
Yeah, right.
So for me, I'm a little motion sick. As of a couple hours ago, I played a VR game that did not agree with me. I'm still getting used to that. So if I have to vomit at some point,
oh no,
listeners, I'm going to leave it in.
You're allowed.
Oh no, you're not.
Bold choice.
Yeah. So yeah, for listeners, the People's Trivia Company is a trivia game that I've been playing in for a few months now. I mentioned it on the podcast a few weeks ago. But Austin and Jack, how about you tell our listeners just kind of what it is and what you guys are all about?
Basically, we started off as a trivia company that did in-person live trivia games at either like bars, restaurants, breweries, things like that. And it was in Southern California. Started this in 2018, and then we were on a good kind of roll, and then it was really, really hard for some reason to get people together in the same room, exchanging papers and drinks and things like that. So, we moved to an online show, and we've been doing that for about 10 months, 3 shows a week, and we've grown a nice little trivia community. We try to recreate that bar trivia pub quiz experience, but so far I'm just happy with the group we've kind of amassed as over the months. So.
Yeah, the online community has people from all over the United States and even from outside the U.S.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people. Yeah,
Cool.
we got UK, we got Canada. Those are the only 2 countries I can safely pronounce.
Australia stopped by.
Australia stopped by for a touch. It was his lunch break, but it was
Sure.
it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it, but some friends of ours live in California, and in October, I think one of them got my wife to play with them for just for one day, and then she told me, "Okay, Gabe, you got to make plans for this,"
You're
and
in.
I've been playing with them ever since.
That means we're doing something right. I love it. That means we're doing
Yep.
something okay. That means that's the kind of point. Like, you have fun. You want to have fun with your friends and family every single week, or you make it like a tradition thing. That's the whole point. I love it. I like the business I'm in because that kind of stuff happens. Win-win.
And I will be honest, you need to do more of it because that's
no.
easily the highlight of our week. Those Tuesday, Wednesday, and
That's
Thursday.
such a
Love
sweet
hearing
thing
it.
to say.
I love
Thank
hearing
you.
it. And if we did any more of it, I think we would turn to dust.
Yeah, we are going
sure.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it is a lot of work, so not to downplay that.
It's no, and of course I'll always say it's more work than people think.
Sure.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun, and like I said, it would be we wouldn't even make it this far if it weren't for the people, the fans that just kind of keep playing our game and keep supporting us. So it's a fun business.
There you go. I guess, would you guys mind telling us how you got into tabletop gaming?
Yes. Well, I think Austin mentioned earlier that I have a little bit more experience than he does. And ever since I was a nerd in, middle and high school with interest in video games and storytelling, role-playing and D&D was a natural hobby I was going to get into. I did play-by-post role-playing online before I ever did any, tabletop D&D stuff. I don't know how familiar you guys are with that.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's just instead of being a stat heavy or math heavy thing, it's just you create your own character and then write your piece of the story, and then the next person does that.
Sure.
So I played 3.5 in high school, but in order to find a group, my mom had to drive me like half an hour out of the way. To this group of people because I didn't know anyone who was DMing a game.
Dedicated mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great though. She's a saint. And yeah, my first character was a little rogue thing, and I learned about sneak attack dice, which I love. And then later in college, I had experience with 4th edition and other companies too, like White Wolf Games. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I played something called Mage the Awakening. Yeah. And it just combines my love of mathematics with my love of funky characters and having fun with friends and storytelling and magical worlds you can lose yourself into.
Yeah.
And when I can, I play.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Love it. I did not get into anything more difficult than Monopoly until college. And I think I was inducted into tabletop gaming. I'm not gonna say the wrong way because my friends, they meant well, but the very first tabletop game I can remember playing was Twilight Imperium, which was not the shallow end of anything at all. And I was pretty much I was just tossed in there. All I understood was I was a space lion, and this thing's gonna take 8 hours. So I didn't really get a good grasp on it until I got into playing a couple of one-offs that my friends were putting into D&D. I would just kind of pop in as a character and leave because I really didn't have the time. But once got into it, loved it because we perform improv comedy, and that's D&D just goes right into that. We love the role playing aspect of it. It's just like, oh, you're in a tavern, cool. What else can I play with? That aspect's really fun to me. So, yeah, just I'm a newbie. Like I said, Jack's got way more experience in this, but I'm just kind of getting my feet wet.
Sure.
Cool.
We've already mentioned this to our listeners, but Jeff and I have been playing, or at least we've been playing together since on and off since high school. I think we each started playing in different friend groups, but I started playing around 3rd edition. Jeff, did you play 2nd edition or did you start in 3rd?
A little bit of 2nd edition. There was a starter kit that our friend Steve had.
Sure.
That we played around with before we got into 3rd edition.
Yep. If I can ask, what's your guys' opinion of 5th edition as a whole?
Shoot, was that requisite? Did I have to form an
I'm
opinion
going to
on
say,
that?
here's what I'm going to say officially. It's both my favorite and least favorite because it's, I think, the only version I played. Sure. I think that's what I was introduced to for the one-off. So I don't have enough to compare it to.
So unfortunately, I stopped at 4E.
Okay. No problem. Sorry, I didn't clear that question by you first.
Oh, no problem.
All right. Well, you guys want to go ahead and get into this episode?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Okay. So I want you to imagine that the three of you you're going to a party in your area. So imagine this is pre-COVID or post-COVID, whatever type of environment you have to envision. And there's a new person in your area that's inviting everybody around for a block party or something. And you get into the building, and of course, everybody tosses their coats at you, and they say, "Oh, can you go toss those in the coats there with the coats? They're in the other room." So you step into the other room and you flip on the light, and suddenly you're hit with reflections of gold and diamonds and rubies and all sorts of precious art and so on, and you realize that the pile of coats is also the dragon's hoard. Because apparently the person throwing the party is a dragon.
Right, of course. There's always a secret dragon in the story.
Yes, there is. So today's magic
I want
item.
that coat dragon.
I'll settle for the rubies and diamonds.
No. Coat dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon that just collects coats.
I gave you a ticket. What do you mean? Coat check dragon. I love it.
So today's magic item was submitted by James D via email, and the item is the Party Grab Bag. These small pouches can be connected to a bag of holding or a haversack. They don't actually hold anything of their own, but allows the holder to reach in and call for something inside the main bag, regardless of its location. Limited only by the size of the object, nothing bigger than 10 pounds. After they are attuned to a specific person, if they are separated for more than 12 hours, the bag reverses direction and sucks in anybody who puts in a hand.
What?
The soul energy is devoured and the bag is transported back to the owner. So mechanically, that's a will save versus a DC 13, resists the soul effect, the soul sucking effect, and then you take 6d6 necrotic damage. The save increases by 1 for each attempt. The bag can be disconnected and a new one made with one of the other bags, blood from the holder, a new bag of similar size, and a 1-hour ritual.
Oh my.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A small point of clarification. This means that when if they are separated, that mean the person and the bag, or does it mean someone who's put their hand in and the bag?
Oh, I was assuming when the bags are separated.
I understand. When the bags are separated, it starts into a sucking frenzy, and anyone who's dipped their hand in the bag is going in the bag.
Pretty much, yeah. So you got to keep them close together, or else bad things happen.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I've talked in the past about not being a huge fan of bags of holding, just because I think that their purpose is really only to cover up a part of the game that's not very fun, which is bookkeeping, and also
Right.
people always get too far into the physics of how the bag of holding works and so on. But I mean, hey, if it's there because if it's also kind of a cursed item, which I would say this definitely is.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll be fine with that. I feel like I think we might have had an item that had a similar function a long time ago, that like we had bags of holding that like fit inside each other or something. But this one in particular functions kind of like there's an item.
Bagbushka dolls.
Kind of, yeah. I think it was called the rushing nesting bag is what we had like 3 years ago or something. But this makes me think of there's an item in Minecraft, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah.
The shulker box.
Or there's
I think so.
Like the ender chests.
Those are all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what comes to mind with this. Like the function is you can have a bag of holding, and then each person can have access to it even when they're not immediately nearby.
But you better come back home.
You really should.
Don't be gone for too long. Like get back before your curfew.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sack's ticking. We got to get out of here.
Oh boy.
What? Satchel? Sorry, satchel.
That's a little better. Sure.
Sorry, I'm working synonyms. I'm sorry.
So there was when they were introducing Artificer from Eberron into 5th edition, they did an Unearthed Arcana where they had like playtest version of it, and one of the playtest version, or maybe they kept it in, but they had an item that they could make that was basically these, like, it was small pouches, but you can make up to like 5 of them and give them to your whole party, and it wasn't bag of holding, like it wasn't like a huge amount you can fit in there. It was basically just like a one pouch, but that pouch's space was shared by everyone that you gave to the party, so you could put like a couple potions in there, so that way they're the party's potions, and whoever needed one could just grab it. Okay. This is a much darker version of that.
Yes. Like many of the items submitted, this is very much a cursed item of some sort.
I was just gonna say, with any item like that, I feel you're gonna have, or maybe it's just the people I play with, the players are gonna try to use it against the NPCs.
Of course.
So they attach it to the.
That's exactly where I went.
Right,
Yeah.
Bag of holding, and then they leave it like as a honeypot trap.
100% what I was thinking.
Right, and then for at least let it cook for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then
put a sign next to it that says like free.
Yeah, whatever. And then you have the bad guy NPC reaches a hand in, and 66 damage.
Right.
Yeah.
You definitely got to put a sign that says "Do not touch," because that's the most tantalizing.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Do not touch. Yeah. Honor system in parentheses below it.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly where I went, which I wanted to use it offensively. What I would do, maybe give the bag sell it to an NPC you don't like. Have him go to all his friends, say, hey, you want to impress your friends at this party? Tell them they can pull a ruby out of this thing. So, like, everyone at this party, they're all evil, by the way, dips their hand in, this cool party trick, gets a ruby, and then 12 hours later, you have sucked the souls of the entire party of evil people, because that thing's coming home.
Oh,
yeah.
It's exactly what I think Jack's right.
It'd be like a rogue guild or like a thieves guild kind of thing,
Right.
where it's like the leader gives out these bags so that the thief can be like going out there and like collecting stuff, and so they put the stuff in the bag, but it ends up in the leader's bag.
Right.
But
Sure.
but if the thief goes rogue and like goes off and like goes away tries to like escape the guild or something like that, they always get their bag back.
And they never tell them that. They never tell them that aspect.
Right.
Yeah.
Until they're soulless.
Yeah, I think that's some good plot hooks. That's great.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't really have much else to say. It's a pretty simple item, but definitely has its fun uses, I guess.
Oh, it's a fun bag.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for the Dragon's Hoard today. So once again, that was the party grab bag submitted by James D via email. Thank you very much, James D. Jeff, if anybody else wanted to enter magic items for the Dragon's Hoard, or they wanted to submit questions for us to discuss, or stories for the funeral pyre, how would they get those to us?
They can send us an email at interpartyconflict@gmail.com, or join us on our Interparty Discord at bit.ly/interpartydiscord.
That's correct. And before we go any further, we have a giveaway to give away today. As usual, we're giving away a copy of Unearthed Tips and Tricks Volume 2, courtesy of Crit Academy. For anyone not familiar, Unearthed Tips and Tricks 2 is a supplement from the Crit Academy podcast, where it's a collection of 25 character concepts, 25 encounter concepts, monster variants, magic items, player tips, and DM tips. It's full of great stuff for players, for DMs, for everybody. So it's a great supplement. So, Jeff, who is our winner of this great supplement today?
Today's winner is Taylor H.
Winner. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Yes, congratulations, Taylor H. Be sure to let us know if you haven't gotten it in a few days. If a week goes by and you still haven't gotten anything, let me know. And of course, leave Crit Academy a review. The more reviews they have, the more attention they get, and also the more they can improve on products in the future. So big thank you to Crit Academy. Congratulations, Taylor H. Jeff, if anybody else wanted to enter this drawing and they wanted to be like Taylor H and win a free copy of this great supplement, how would they do so?
They could send us an email at interpartyconflict@gmail.com with Unearthed Tips and Tricks Volume 2 in the subject line.
That's correct. And next up, I want to thank all of our wonderful patrons for helping make this show happen. Patreon's an online platform. You can pledge to donate a certain amount of money per month to the creator of your choice. If you go to ours at patreon.com/interpartyconflict, we've got a few different reward tiers. We've got, on the lowest tier, we've got outtakes. We've got a bunch of fantasy fiction that I've written. On the next tier up, we have a monthly bonus podcast, InterPatronConflict. pretty soon we'll probably be doing an episode about VR, because I've been getting into VR recently. And on our top tier, we have a monthly Roll20 game. We just did ours for January, but we'll be doing one for February and upcoming weeks. So so check that out. Once again, it's patreon.com/InterPartyConflict. Check out the rewards and see if anything appeals to you. And we really appreciate everybody who has continued to donate to us during these tough times. We know that, it's tough, so we appreciate any help you guys can give us. You guys are awesome.
Yes, thank you.
And then one more quick thing, just check out the other podcasts on the Crit Nation Fellowship. Check out Crit Academy, critacademy.com. Justin, Ian, and Austin produce new and reusable content for players and DMs alike. Also check out Brute Force and Ignorance. They're an actual play podcast. Check out the Kind GM podcast, where they make DM advice. I'm still getting used to plugging that one. And check out D&D Character Lab, where Garen and Dan made characters every week and pitted them against each other to debate whose characters were better. And now, Austin and Jack, if you want to tell our listeners where they can view your trivia show, where they can find you online, anything you want to tell them about People's Trivia Company, or anything else you're working on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. One, for having us, two, for letting me plug. We have live trivia games every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. You can. They're on YouTube, but the easiest way to find us is live.peoplestrivia.co. That's live.peoplestrivia.co, or just search for People's Trivia Co. on YouTube. And if you're looking for us on social media, we're going to be at People's Trivia Co. That's where we also post scores. So if you want to see how smart you did,
Awesome.
how good your brain was, check out our social media for that.
How many good smart points you got?
Yes. And if you look on the right side up at the top, that's where my team always is.
Oh, Rats Mannequin, that's your
Rats
home.
Mannequin. We're never on the left side, which is the top half. We're always in the bottom half, but we're at the top of the bottom half.
We call them Team 49% is what we call them. Just below the halfway mark.
Yes. Yeah, it's a great trivia show. I really recommend it to everybody. It's so much fun. I would love if a bunch of our listeners started participating.
Absolutely.
Yeah, jump in. Maybe you can help bump Rats Mannequin up to the left side.
I guess, yeah, if statistically speaking, there are more teams that join that get less than us.
Yeah.
Okay.
very true.
This is a pretty
Push
good
you up.
idea, actually.
So all the dummies out there.
Wow.
Standing on the shoulders of not giants.
There you go. All right.
Was there anything else you guys wanted to plug?
Also, I'll happily plug this. I'm on a team called Fancy Hobo Improv. Very similarly, you can find us on YouTube, Fancy Hobo Improv, and Twitch. We have free comedy shows weekly, and I like it and brings smiles.
Awesome.
Remember the improv on that social media. Fancy
Yes.
Hobo is just some other guy.
Fancy Hobo is someone else.
Don't follow that guy.
Okay.
Fancy Hobo
Improv.
Improv is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There you go.
I made that mistake
All right.
in a couple DMs.
Oh goodness.
Awesome. You guys want to go ahead and jump into some questions then?
Love it.
Love it, yeah.
All right. Our first question comes from Peter K on email, and they ask, "What is your favorite story moment from D&D as a DM or a player?"
Yeah. If you guys have some stories you'd like to share, go for it.
Let's see. So I was thinking of my favorite moment, but now that I realize my favorite story moment is definitely this. A campaign I played relatively recently, heck, maybe it was 5e now that I think about it. We were tasked to figure out what was going on in a certain village, and on the way there, among our party's items was another group of items, just someone's comb and clothes and whatever. And we didn't know what it was. And so then we go through the whole campaign and we find out that the main monster is this interdimensional creature, which is just deleting people out of existence. Whoa. Not only would they disappear, but everyone who knew them would have no memories of them existing. And their evidence that they had lived would just be confusing to they justify it some other way.
Looks like nothing to me.
Yeah, looks like nothing to me. So it was revealed then, basically near the end of the campaign, that original guy's stuff we found at the beginning was a party member that had been with us theoretically since the beginning of the story, who had just been deleted from our memory.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was so cool.
He was your best friend and you thought he was trash.
Yeah, and there's like this little, like, there's a statue of all of us saving the day from the previous campaign that included this character that wasn't there. It was so cool.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Whoa.
Damn. Love that.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, that's like the whole like deleted from existence is terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Terrifying. So what I had a one-off in which I think I was a ranger because I wanted the owlbear, all right? I knew an owlbear existed, and I wanted that owlbear. So,
Okay.
The second I was on the page, and so I think the DM had set up for this one-off. He had essentially set up Die Hard, but it was like in a castle. He set up Die Hard in a castle. He wanted to isolate us and make us move through like the ducts and like have like a cat and mouse kind of game going on with it. He explained it all afterwards because boy did we not follow that blueprint. He was torn up that he's like, I had so much ready for you guys as far as traps and the party just kicked down the door. And just like, where is he? But there was a part where there was a owlbear rug on the floor, which deeply offended me. But we were able to throw that onto my back, and because I can speak owlbear, we were able to with a check convince one of the guards that I was just a wild owlbear walking around the grounds, and got in that way. Huge fan of it.
I believe because this was recorded for a podcast,
Yes.
this session, and so I listened to it, and it was like a crazy amount of natural 20s.
I couldn't stop.
The table
Yeah.
was losing it.
I could not stop rolling 20s to the point where just, oh yeah, that's obviously an owlbear. Let him go. I loved it.
That's pretty good.
Reminds me of it's like the story of like the bear, the character that is a bear but just has a really, really high charisma check. So they
The
just
bear
convince-
rogue, yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have a butler that translates for him?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
he
that's
does.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sir
love
Barrington.
Oh, that's so good. Jeff, do you have a favorite story moment as a DM or as a player?
Let me see. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, see, it's hard.
It's
Like,
it's tough because there are definitely like there's a couple moments I always come back to, and I feel like I've like mentioned them a bunch of times. Like the only one I can think of at the top of my head that, because there's definitely been like several moments that have been pretty good, but I really liked the end of Age of Worms where we were fighting Kios on the top of a tower, and like we basically did the thing that you hate where you mix two dimensional things, where if you put a portable hole in a bag of holding something, the world goes crazy kind of thing. But
Yeah, well, in this case, you had Kios cast Gate on a Sphere of Annihilation.
Right, which is one of the which is what in the rules one of the ways to destroy a Sphere of Annihilation, isn't that right? Yeah. So like one of the few
But
ways.
there's a side effect.
Yeah, there is a side effect where it can sometimes like teleport everything within like a several 100-foot radius, like to a random plane of existence.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's sliders. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
So
Except it's the whole top of the tower that goes along with them.
right, yeah. So it's just this like
And there's a chance it happens.
right. And so like Gabe rolls for the chance and is like, well, okay, you guys are going somewhere, and he like kind of rolls on a random chart, and he's like, all right, I can work with that.
Yeah.
And so we end up in a like a minor plane of law, I think it was.
I think so.
I forget.
Arcadia, I think it was.
Arcadia, yeah. And like it ended up like there was like this like lost civilization of people that like were basically hiding out in that plane, and it was like these. We kept finding like clues about them throughout the entire adventure, and like one of our party members like had a couple like artifact weapons basically from their civilization.
Yeah.
And so it was like sort of like this random chance thing happened, and then Gabe kind of pulled it together and made it all fit really well. So like
that's cool.
so like so in the end we ended up like finding this lost civilization. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun because for anyone who's not familiar with the Age of Worms, it was an adventure path that Paizo Publishing made back before they made Pathfinder. They made Adventures in Dungeon Magazine, and so they had this adventure path. It was like 10 different adventures or whatever that we played through over the course of like a year and a half. And yeah, it was the final battle of the campaign. The PCs were literally fighting against a deity on top of this tower.
That's where you do that.
Yeah, it happens,
It's not going to be in a food court.
Right.
If it was.
And so just one of the things that the players can do is they can bring this sphere of annihilation to fight to like destroy the deity's armor or something like that. And so they did. And then I used one of the tricks in his bag of tricks to stop it, which I did. And then what followed was just a series of random events. I randomly rolled to see if it teleported everything to a random plane. It did. And then I rolled what plane. It could have been any plane. It could have been any of the, 20 or whatever planes in the book, but it ended up being this plane that I realized fit very closely with this lost civilization that the campaign has sort of been revolving around.
Yeah.
And it's left intentionally vague as to what happened to that civilization. And I was like, how perfect is this?
Let's go.
That they could very well end up right on the doorstep of the remnants of this lost civilization while they're fighting the final battle of this campaign. So
Beautiful.
yeah, it's a good one. It's a good example.
That's a lot of fun.
I would say so. I've got a lot. Spoilers for listeners. This question, as well as another question we'll probably do on this episode, has been on our list for a long time because it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick one story moment. I've had a lot of great story moments over the years. It's hard to pick one. My mind kind of goes completely blank. I can't think of any usually when I'm trying to think of one. But
Right.
Another moment from this same adventure path, actually, from earlier on, there was this NPC. I guess it's going to be spoilers for Age of Worms, but there's this NPC that is the party meets that it's like this elven noble or something, and she sends a party on a couple adventures. And she's, this benefactor that they deal with a few times. And there's a point where the party goes to this, they drink from this fountain that shows them some vision of the past that was locked away or something.
Don't do that.
Well, they have to they have to find out this piece of information that's been sealed away.
You're not going to like what you...
And so in doing so, they see this vision. And in the vision, they see, thousands of years ago, they see that NPC that they've been dealing with all this time. I think her name was Natasha or something. And they see her. In this vision, she transforms into a dragon. So the party finds out, so she's a dragon. And then she flies away and gets killed.
Okay.
So the party, number one, they're like, okay, so she's hiding the fact that she's a dragon. Also, she's hiding the fact that she's dead. But she's not dead, so what happened? Right. And then, spoilers after that, turns out that she is a zombie dragon or something that is working for the big bad.
I think she was a vampire dragon.
That's what it was. She was a vampire dragon. So.
Because most of her dragon's hoard was red gems and rubies and stuff like that. So it's all related to blood and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, that comes to mind as it's a series of twists that that makes that interesting. Oh, that makes that even more interesting.
Yeah. Confusing the party seems to be fun.
Yeah.
I can see why you're a DM.
Sure. So as a DM, I think that's one of my more favorite moments. Another one as a player is I was playing as a character I've mentioned many times. He was not a samurai. He was a katana wielding barbarian named Ichi. And this was in the campaign with Chris.
Dang.
And it was similarly the final adventure of this particular campaign. And there was babies were being born without souls. And so we had to go to the positive energy plane and go to the fortress where souls are manufactured to find out what's going on.
Soul factory.
Pretty much, yeah. Just a regular run-of-the-mill soul factory. And in order to get in, we needed a key that was possessed by an ex-god. And the only way to get it from him was to kill him because there was no way he was going to give that up. So we had to go and we had to first negotiate with an ex-god and then fight and kill an ex-god in order to go somewhere.
So how'd negotiations go?
Well, pretty well, actually.
Okay.
It only resorted to murder eventually, not immediately.
Okay. So a rocky ending, but good middle.
Yeah. So I guess I really like those big epic moments where something crazy and mind-blowing is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how yours involves interplanar travel and mine is an owlbear carcass on my back. It's a range. It's a range. The game has range. That's what I'm saying.
It
Right,
does.
absolutely.
Like it's the
Really
small
does.
moments and it's the big moments. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so our next question again comes from Peter K on email, and they ask, "What is your worst story moment from D&D as a DM or a player?"
Yeah.
Well, Gabe, I only ever play with you, so.
So, Jeff, what are you going to say?
All right. So,
Oh no, that's charged.
Yeah, I have something. So in college, I was a part of a tabletop group, and we were playing like a Mage the Awakening game where all the players it's modern day, and you're secretly magic users. And my character was like a preteen girl who was just really enthusiastic about stuff. And I really liked her, and she was great. Our DM was a creep.
oh
And it was
no.
weird.
Okay.
And it was great. The campaign was fine. But then the DM put in like a 7-year jump just randomly. And everyone is 7 years older now. And I didn't want to play a 19-year-old
Right.
Oh, goodness.
young woman.
Yeah.
I wanted to play a 12-year-old girl. And so then I just totally checked out. And
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it was because he wanted my character to be in a romance, and it was going to be gross if it was a 12-year-old.
Oh, boy.
Well, at
yeah.
least he had a little bit of common sense.
A little more than
Well-
zero. More than
More
zero.
than zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's a peace out moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a goodbye.
That is definitely that's a showstopper.
Yeah. Sorry that creep existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Sorry. So you can see now why I was so eager to talk about it.
Oh, no, yeah, no, I
Because
totally
it was you, Jeff. No, I'm kidding.
No,
I'm just kidding. We set this up. Gabe and I, we got you.
Oh gosh.
Oh, this has been 10 years.
Oh god.
I'm kidding. I'm 100%
No,
kidding.
no.
Oh, goodness.
I'm sorry to make light of a terrible thing. But that's what I do.
We've definitely had we have discussions on this show about that sort of awkwardness in tabletop
Yeah.
gaming that can happen. So
Yeah.
it's we've had questions come in. It's like, how do you deal with this sort of situation? It's like, what do you do? It's like, well, sometimes you just gotta leave the game. There's not really much
Yeah.
else
Deal
if
with
you're
it
Just gotta leave.
quickly and directly.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as I guess my worst story, if you ask a few other questions, it kind of overlaps, but I was part of a party that, a member of the party was turned to stone, and they were trying to get him back to killed essentially, but they were trying to get him back to a temple in order to get brought back to life, and I was part of what had happened, to cause that said statue to drop. And I'm not saying who dropped the statue, but when he got to the temple, my friend was in several pieces, and it took a lot longer and a lot more gold than we had previously expected. So
Oh.
Sure.
the look on the player's face of you guys dropped me? How do you drop me?
Yeah. That's that goes from stone to flesh to true resurrection instead, and that's a hefty price.
That's a bit more money.
Yeah.
And that makes sense why it was more money now. I'm like, yeah. You gotta get that. You gotta hit the glue. Yeah, that makes sense. Gotta pay for it. But that one's a quick one.
Yeah. Jeff, you got one?
Oh shoot. Darn. Oh, look at the time.
No. Are you just gonna direct us to a previous episode? Or 7?
Oh, no.
No, worst story moment.
It's hard.
Yeah, again, it's tough, and the only thing I can think of at the top of my head is my worst story moment is when I came up with a character that just kind of sucked,
Sure.
and so I just had to make a new character.
I've done that. I've done that, man.
It's I had all these ideas for this character, and it just did not fit the campaign at all or anything that was going on, and it just wasn't viable at all. And I was like, well, this is kind of crummy. I made a hunter-gatherer rangers type, but we were doing dungeon delving and things like that. And I was I've got nothing for any of this.
No berries in here.
Yeah, there's no berries or deer to hunt for food.
I can tell you all the living things in this area. None. There are none.
There are none. This is
Check again in 5 minutes.
Yeah, there are stone walls everywhere.
How'd you kill him? You know, you killed him. You wanted to. How'd you kill him?
Well, no. This is another one of Gabe's great things that like great moments is we didn't kill the character. He just kind of went off and did his own thing or whatever. But
You just sunsetted him.
yeah, but Gabe actually brought him back towards the end of the campaign, like
Get wrecked.
to like kind of like help out. There was like basically like an apocalypse kind of moment where a bunch of bad stuff was happening, and so like Gabe brought in a bunch of other characters to come and like help out. And one of them was my old character. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that guy.
It's like when Mantis showing up at the end of the end game or something. And it's
Pretty
me.
much, yeah. It was an adventuring party consisting of Jeff's old character, the doppelganger that took the place of Jeff's current character, and Jeff's current character's dad.
Yeah,
This is your life.
yeah,
Pretty
right.
much.
This is your life. The party. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, I'll be PayPaling you some money as thanks for making me sound cool in front of everybody else.
In front of my internet friends.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, I'll get to DM in a second because it's difficult to come up with something. Well, anyway, as a player, I would probably say that one of the worst story moments I can think of is there's an adventure. I think we just brought this up a couple episodes ago, maybe even last episode. There was an adventure called The Black Egg. That was an adventure in Dungeon Magazine. It was very, very deadly. And the first time I played through this, because I played through it as two different characters over two different campaigns. And the first time through, it was so deadly that everyone in the party died at some point.
Bad eggs.
Like, it wasn't a TPK because like it was never all of us died at once. But like there was a point where I felt like we can't finish. We don't have enough to finish this. And so there was a point where like the DM kind of like, oh gosh, look at that. There's 5,000 gold's worth of diamonds for that raise dead spell that you have prepared. Why don't you use that to raise one of your party members? And I don't know, the wind was taken out of my sails, and it definitely made me feel like we wouldn't have made it through if the DM hadn't been kind of letting us.
Right.
So I don't know. I definitely have bad memories around that event. As a DM, it's hard because whenever I think of like the worst story moment, I just think of, what's a time where I did a really bad job DMing? And that's not necessarily, I don't know if that's what they were asking, but that's what comes to mind. So I don't know. I guess there was a time that I had them meet this NPC in this homebrew campaign that I was running. And I felt like, afterwards, I looked back and I was like, why the heck did I run this NPC that way? I had the NPC be like incredibly cagey and not give out any information.
Coy.
And afterwards, I was just like, why not tell the players what I want them to know instead of,
But it's better if they guess.
I mean, I guess, yeah.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right. That's a good instinct.
I love it. It sounds like that's like when I'm in an improv scene and I some reason forgot all of my training and I'm just like, what's going on? I don't know who you are. What's my name?
Yeah. So ever since, like there are moments when pretty much anytime I'm running a game where I have to like stop myself and be like, just tell them whatever question they're asking. Don't avoid it. Just give them the information because that means that they'll get to the next story point I want them to get to.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was a learning experience, if nothing else, I guess.
What if like video games were like that? When you like load it up and it's like, where do you want to go? It's like all open-ended, like being coy. It's like, no, you just go to the town. Yeah.
I mean, there is always sort of that battle between like a game being too open-ended where you don't know what to do about it, and then too hand-holdy or railroady to be like, well, you're just taking me on a tour right now, so that's whatever.
You give 3 options, and 2 of the options are the same option. You just don't know it. That's how I would. How I would do it. Give the party 3 options, and there's 2 of them are secretly the same option. So it's really 2 options.
Yeah, essentially, whatever they choose to do, it somehow leads to what you have already prepared for the night.
Right.
Are we giving away your secrets, Gabe? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, if our listeners haven't picked up on that much by this point, then heavens help them, I guess.
What are we doing?
What are we even doing? Yeah.
What are we even doing here?
What are we even doing here?
Yeah. So these questions, like, your favorite and least favorite story moments, like those, it's hard for me, at least. It's hard to come up with those because I don't know. I mean, they're all good. I guess. Or at least I try to remember them all as good. They're all either good or they're all bad.
I'm such a good DM that there are no bad memories. I don't know
that's not what
it
I
is.
was trying to say. It's more the players did such a good job. The players had fun, and that's the important thing.
I'm giving you help.
Yeah, Gabe's just played a lot, so like
I guess.
Expertise.
you could call it that.
All right, I think that'll do it for our regular questions for today, but we do still have our social media questions. Our last social media question was, what is your favorite color or variety of dragon? Jack and Austin, do you guys have a favorite color or variety of dragon?
Yeah, I want to say that your homegrown green dragon is where it's at.
Okay.
Because it's a
She's standing up
relatively,
right now.
in terms of dragons, it's the lower level, less powerful dragon, but it's still a dragon. Like, so just like if like maybe less D&D, I'm thinking Skyrim as an example. It is a foe that for lower level crews is entirely intimidating, and yet still within reach of defeating. And I think when you get to the point where, a green dragon was so tough for me, and then now I can beat a green dragon single-handedly, the existence of that kind of monster helps you feel the progression of your power,
Sure.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, because like dragon, yeah, you're right. It's still a true dragon, so like you're still a dragon slayer for having killed it, even if it is the lowest level dragon.
Still a dragon.
Right.
Still a dragon, guys.
Still counts.
I know it was a baby green one, but technically I'm a dragon slayer.
And then you get to look down on the people who only killed a white dragon.
Yeah, right. Right.
Be like, yeah, so it's Dragon Slayer. My sword's called a Dragon Slayer. I'm called a Dragon Slayer. I'm just the Dragon Slayer now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Austin, do you have a favorite type of dragon?
Gold dragons are pretty. Sure. It's really
Yeah,
it.
no,
Like, I dig it. Like you can put that. Jack won't let me do it, but I want to put a mural of a gold dragon.
Well, he wants to hoard gold dragons.
Yes.
So he wants a pile of gold dragons and he wants to sleep on top of it.
Because they have their own hordes. You don't understand. It's a pyramid thing. Anyway, we're going to talk about this later. But gold dragons are that's my jam.
Okay.
That's my jam.
Yeah, no, gold dragons are pretty good. Jeff,
One
do you
more-
recall what you said last time?
I think. See, for chromatic, I said black because I like the horns. I dig the aesthetic, and then I also like their acid breath is pretty cool.
Sure. Nice.
But I also like copper dragons of the metallic ones.
Yeah, I think I said copper dragons because they prank you.
They're pranksters. Yeah,
The pranksters.
They're pranksters. That's so good being pranked by a dragon. Come on.
For dragon.
So we got a few responses, not a ton, but over on Facebook, Jake F says the Orium dragon. I'm actually not even sure what this is, but he goes on to say the
Nestle
original
makes that.
lair. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm just saying. Nabisco makes that.
Oreo dragon.
It wasn't worth repeating, and I don't know why I did it.
No, that's pretty good. The original lair fixer-uppers. I was drawn to their breath weapon, which was a long cloud of vapor that would become a serpentine construct and continue to fight and act after being exhaled.
What? Their breath.
I have never heard
Their
of
breath
this.
weapon is another
God.
dragon.
I guess, yeah.
What? What is it? A dragon when it barks and shoots dragons at you?
He has dragon breath.
Oh,
No, not dragon breath. Dragon breath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
jeez.
Jesus, that's like Alien.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's the only one we had on Facebook, and we didn't have any on Reddit. Over on Twitter, we just got one. Quallywood Squares says copper and bronze. Their antimicrobial properties seem particularly helpful at the moment.
Antimicrobial. They don't.
That's pretty good,
That's
actually.
pretty good.
It works for doorknobs.
good.
It works for dragons.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. We got a few on Discord. Stiltskin Koopo 84 says, I only like dead dragons, but if I had to pick a live one, I guess it would be the gold dragon. They can be useful NPC quest givers.
This guy. This guy gets it. Also looks great on the side of a van.
Sure. I like their whiskers. I think I said last time.
Yeah.
The Beverage Tea says, hairy Scootish dragons, which are raised by the Scoots in Scotland. They are bred for the Scoots to scoot around all day atop their hairy Scootish dragons. It is a scootin' good time for all.
Did you get auto-corrected there? Terribly?
What is
happened?
going on?
Yeah, maybe. But in D&D, it's the Ancient Red Dragon. All the rest are just variants on the new Coke.
It's a Scoot Dragon.
Yeah. Okay.
Scooter.
From Scotland.
Yep. Debrasor says, "You got your lich in my dragon. You got your dragon in my lich." The Dracolich.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Dustin says, "The one that pulls the strings behind the scenes. I like dragons who are played like Moriarty. Ancient, intelligent, and powerful. They have plans spanning 1,000 years. You rarely meet them face to face, and if you do, you had better be polite."
Yeah.
Damn. That guy writes dragons.
Yeah. Peastroy Pancakes says, "Dragons are cool. They can be terrifying. They can be keepers of great secrets, imposing even when benevolent. In some cases, maybe a little stuffy. Well, not my favorite one, the Copper Dragon. I love nothing more than the idea of the party getting pickpocketed by a small girl with fiery red hair and freckles. She hands everything back, of course. She just wanted to prove she could steal their stuff. She seems like a little nuisance, but no one in town seemed to mind her, not even the guards. If the party investigates, maybe she lets them follow her to her lair, where she has a huge pile of little sparkling trinkets and more treasure she hides. And it turns out she's an actual copper dragon that just so happens to like this little town and decided she'd be the town folks' protector. I can just picture it in my head how a copper dragon lets some adventurers find its hoard, when in reality they only found the worthless crap that may be shiny but not
It's
super
my
valuable."
trash.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
We found its treasure. It's vast and heavy. Oh, that's my waist.
Oh, it's smelly too.
I hate
All the while, the dragon is hidden behind some illusion that is barely able to contain their laughter. "Oh, that incredibly powerful artifact? That's been some other guys before you were looking for it. But those guys were dicks, so I sent them on some epic journey that has taken them like 3 years now. I wonder if they're still alive. Anyway, I love that joke so much. Here, have the thing."
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a pretty good response. And then one more. Collins B says, "Easy based on what I said to last week's question. Star dragons from 2nd edition, also called radiant or celestial dragons, gargantuan shimmering dragons that live in space and act as natural spell jammers.
Ooh.
Can't get cooler than space dragons in my book."
Cool.
Oh, Spelljammer.
I wish they would bring spell jammers.
If you haven't named your guitar yet, Spelljammers. That's awesome. Like those are like that's some deep dragon dives. I love that.
A little bit, yeah. All right, so that was our last social media question. Our next one is, have any of your D&D books met an untimely end? If so, what happened?
Oh.
I got nothing.
The only ones I owned were 3.5 manuals and 4 manuals, and they're all safe in my parents' closets.
Okay.
For now.
There you go. Yeah, I always try to take really good care of mine, but I do have an example. We got a rabbit several years ago, and when we first got her, we didn't have. It took us a while to get her a cage, but we had a spare room, so we just put her in this spare room, which was also like where I had my bookcase of D&D books. And so she just, just lived in this room for a little while. And I noticed that some of my books no longer had a spine or front cover because she had chewed them off.
Oh, no.
Oh,
So
no.
nothing super valuable or anything, but,
Yeah, it's still.
one or two of them I still have, I think.
Right.
Jerk bunny.
Yeah. Bunnies are jerks. That is true. Jeff, you got anything?
Nah, I mean, most of mine are just like sitting on a shelf or either sitting on a shelf or they're in like a container or something like that. Luckily, I haven't.
Sure.
I've had a few basement floods, but luckily nothing's gotten damaged. It's not like
Sure. Well, hopefully some of our listeners have something to share.
well, hopefully
I guess.
not, because then they had broken.
Well, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. For the podcast's sake, I hope somebody has a good story to share.
For our entertainment value, we hope you've damaged your personal property. That's what I want to say.
Exactly.
That's
That's
all
what we're trying to get at.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it for our questions for today. But before we close out, let's wind down. Let's take a deep breath. Let's remember those who have come before us, who have given their lives so that we may have a better world to live in, as we toss another log onto the funeral pyre. So, Jack, I think you had a story to bring in. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. So the most memorable PC death that I've experienced was 3.5 edition. this group that I traveled. My mom drove me half an hour to go play with. We were traveling in a swamp, and I was a human. I don't remember the whole composition of the group, but the character that's key about this was a halfling.
Okay.
And while we were traveling through a swamp, our group saw something under the surface of the water, like something moving. And it wasn't my idea, but it was someone's idea to tie the halfling to a rope and throw her in the water.
Wasn't the halfling's idea, I'll tell you that right now.
to attract the whatever was in the water so that we would know where it is.
So literally fishing with halfling.
That's pretty good.
Predictably, this thing in the water was a giant anaconda. And grappled the halfling and in like 2 rounds max swallowed her whole.
Jesus.
Oh, no.
Grappling is the worst.
Grappling.
But did the halflings still have the rope around them? Because
it was
we still got a chance.
Our net strength check had no hope. I think we like lost the rope or something
come on, you
right
can't lose
away.
the rope.
Oh.
The one you tie it to the ship. What the hell?
We were very dumb. It was a very dumb team of people. And so, yeah, she died. And eventually we established a tavern in the world called the Drowned Halfling, which I feel was our group's way of rewriting history.
It is. I like technically it was the swallowed halfling.
Yeah,
I
right?
don't think the halfling died by drowning, but I love that you honored it with a tavern.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, boy,
That's my funeral pyre share.
Yeah, that's a pretty good story.
That's a great one. I already shared mine. We dropped a statue of a dead guy, and I felt so bad.
That's right.
You're not supposed to.
All
do
right. Okay. All right. Well, let's raise a glass in memory of these these fallen heroes who remind us, get a smarter party next time.
Or longer rope.
Or
longer rope.
Yeah.
Clink.
All right. So I think that'll do it for today. Thank you so much, Austin and Jack, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And if you want to tell our listeners once again where they can find you, where they can join your trivia show, anything else you want to say?
No, absolutely, yeah. If you want to join us for live trivia, again, that's every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on YouTube. It's the People's Trivia Company. The show is called Trivia Night Online, and Jack and I we've been hosting 3 episodes a week for about 10 months now, straight. So ever since the end of March of last year. So, and check us out on social media for upcoming events. We have Australia Day. I don't know. Australia Day just happened. Never mind. You've already passed it. But check us out on social media, People's Trivia Co. on Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, yes. Also, Jack is me, and Fancy Hobo Improv on YouTube and Twitch, and also Net Positive Academics is where I do math videos on YouTube.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
All right. To submit questions for us to discuss, items for the Dragon's Horde, or stories for the funeral pyre, please email us at interpartyconflict@gmail.com. For show notes, links to media mentioned on the show, and running lists of questions and magic items, go to interpartyconflict.com. Join the discussion on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Reddit, we're on our Interparty Discord, we're on Twitter at InPartyConflict. Check those out for our weekly social media questions. Your answers might end up on the show. Find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you download podcasts. Please rate, review, subscribe, or just tell a friend. If you want to support the show monetarily, check out the rewards at patreon.com/interpartyconflict. We have a few different tiers, so anything you can spare, even $1 a month, will go towards making the show better, and you'll get bonus content for it. Jeff, tell us about FriendQuest.
FriendQuest is our YouTube channel where you can watch us play video games, or you can join me over at twitch.tv/tiltedturtle to watch me play games live.
There you go. Also head over to bit.ly/interpartyconflict to take a short survey about our show, what you like, what you don't like, etc. And just for taking it, you'll get 2 free printable board games courtesy of Mary and Tom over at hollandspiel.com. And our music is made by Boxcat Games from Nameless the Hacker's RPG. And so, Jeff, until next time,
Take care of yourselves and each other.